Hello and welcome back to my channel. So I am joined by Flo today, my wonderful bearded dragon, and it is Friday 13th. Happy Friday 13th. Hopefully it still is when I post this. But yeah, so today we are going to be talking about reptiles I would not want to own. So the opposite of my last video. And I had a hard time coming up with these, whereas I did not have a hard time at coming up with ones I wanted, and there's a lot less in this video. But yeah, let's get on with it. So the first one that I would not want to own is an iguana. So I'm talking blue iguanas, green iguanas, smaller iguanas like Fiji iguanas, banded Fiji iguanas. I love them. I would keep them if I had the money. But, the big iguanas, no. So, basically, I like the fact that they're vegetarians. That's fine with me. It is just the space and the possible defensiveness. The two that I work with, they are a bonded pair. I don't, I'm not looking for your opinions on cohabiting iguanas because they're not mine, but yeah, Jack and Sally, they are amazing. They are so tame. They are just puppies. But I know that that's not the most common for most iguanas, so for that reason, iguanas I would not really like to keep. So yeah, the space and just their temperament most of the time. Quite hard to handle. Even Jack and Sally, they will leave you bleeding with their claws. That's just how it goes, handling them. And we do we stroke them every day, but we, fully handle them occasionally. And I actually never have. It's just my co-workers who have. I'm not scared of it. I would like to. But yeah, it's a little bit of a task. So iguanas, just never say never, and that's the case for most of these, but I don't see myself keeping iguanas, besides smaller species, anytime soon. Also, I just wanted to add in that in this video, I am not going to be including photos, like examples, like in the last one, just because I think, a lot of these are too vague. I'm not giving a specific species of iguana, and there's not as many. So yeah, moving on. The next animal or group of animals I would not like to keep anytime soon is most big monitors. So I was just going to say most monitors, but I wouldn't mind an Aki. I'd actually quite like an Aki or Storrs monitor or something small. The only bigger monitors I have experience with are Savannah monitors, and I do love them. I just don't think I have the confidence yet. And then I don't really have any experience with tree monitors, but they just intimidate me. Like, not them themselves, but the size needed and the requirements. So yeah, I would say any monitors besides Akis and possibly Storrs, and possibly Savannahs in the future, but not right now. So yeah, again, it's just a confidence thing with the size and the space a lot of the time. If I was given the option between, say, a Savannah monitor and an iguana, I would probably go for the Savannah monitor. But again, tree monitors, I don't see myself owning. Maybe in the far, far future. But yeah, so I would say the majority of monitors for this one. And next, it's another vague one. Surprise, surprise. What is Flo doing? Come back, Florence. So now it is most snakes bigger than a boa constrictor. So a common boa constrictor. So let's say boa is about 8 foot. I'm just giving very rough sizes based on the 2 common boas we have in at the minute at work. Anything bigger than that, I don't see myself owning for a long time. So this might be a controversial one, because I do work with big snakes. I work with boa constrictor, not boa constrictor, I do, but I work with Burmese pythons, I've worked with retics, I work with anacondas. I haven't worked closely with them, but we have them at work. So yeah, I work with the biggest snakes in the world, but I don't feel confident enough to own them by myself. So it's a case of, what would happen if, you know, I just wasn't equipped, and there was no one else in the room with me. At work, we have a 6-foot rule. Anything bigger than 6 foot, 2 people in the room. So even our dwarf boa, who is getting towards 6 foot, I would say she's about like 5.8 or something. You know, it's kind of a two-person, not a two-person job, but someone supervising just in case, as much of a sweetheart as she is. But yeah, my cutoff is sort of, I would say 10 foot if we were going to give a measurement. Nothing bigger than 10 foot for me for now. But someday, possibly, just, you know, if I had the expertise, the confidence, the everything, you know, the space as well, that is another thing. So yeah, I adore snakes, and I would love any snake, but I don't see big snakes being on the agenda quite yet. And next, it is an axolotl, so something a little bit different. Sorry, I believe this is the only amphibian that is on the list, and that is purely because they're in water. Axolotls are one of my favourite animals. I don't know if you can see, but up here I have a massive axolotl collection. They're one of my favourite animals. Yes, they are trendy, and that's kind of why. And they were my dream animal for the longest time. But then I realised the realities of filtration, and I just don't like taking care of things in water. I've had goldfish, I've had tropical fish when I was a child, but even then it was minimal care. Not the minimal care, but the minimal care requirements, you know. So, the easiest aquatic species you could get, basically. And I just don't like it. I love caring for my animals, I love doing maintenance, but they're not in water, and I'm glad they are not. I just don't enjoy it. I don't like the cycling, I just don't like the entire process, and I don't want to go through it, really. Not even for an axolotl. I mean, maybe someday, you know, if my partner, if he really wanted an axolotl, and I'd be like, sure, let's get one. But if I'm going to be the one taking care of it all the time, I don't see myself getting one. And then leading on from that, it's not leading on, but it's same sort of category. Next one is an aquatic turtle, because water. I love turtles. I think I would rather get an aquatic turtle than an axolotl. But it's even more work because it's more space. So yeah, why get an aquatic turtle when you could get a terrestrial one or just a tortoise? You know, it's just, we don't deal with anything aquatic at work, but we have had, oh my gosh, what were they? Wood turtles? Ornate wood turtles? Painted wood turtles? Ornate painted wood turtles? I don't know. We had 2 turtles. They were mainly terrestrial, but they did need a fair bit of aquatic space too. We had provided that for a while. I mean, they were there when I first joined at work. We only had them for a few weeks while I was there, before we rehomed them to someone who could give them, you know, lots of aquatic space as well as terrestrial space. Whereas we had them in, you know, a tortoise table with then a little bit of water, where they needed sort of both equally. So yeah, this isn't a care guide for them. Don't go out and get them because of what I'm saying. I'm just saying why we couldn't keep them. So yeah, if it's not, I mean, I can cope with putting a, you know, fairly big water section into an enclosure. I'm fine with that. Like, you know, some species of frogs that need a pretty big aquatic space, that would be fine with me. It's just if they are aquatic then with a little bit of land, you know. But what I'm saying, I'm making this very complicated. I need a majority terrestrial animal. I don't like fully or majority aquatic animals. I do like them. I like them. I just don't want to own them. So I'm making this so messy. But that is my reasoning for any aquatic animal. Let's just keep it at that. Any fully aquatic or pretty much fully aquatic, not doing it right now. And then next, this might be a given for a lot of keepers. I would say the majority of keepers. That is any venomous reptiles. So it's not that I'm unprepared to go through all the licensing and training. I would do that if I wanted them. I just don't want them. I love them and I respect them, and my boss has just had his licensing and everything done, so we will be getting some venomous in soon. Obviously he's going to be the only one caring for them directly, because he'll be the only one that's qualified to do that. But I will be, you know, in contact with them. So that is pretty cool. But that's as much as I want to do with them. It's, again, like, they are gorgeous, you know, like eyelash vipers, bush vipers, a lot of vipers, gaboon vipers I love. Yeah, a lot of them. Gila monsters, I could keep going. A lot of venomous reptiles are gorgeous, but I just think I'll leave that to the people who want to deal with that. I don't want to. You know, I'm not saying it's not worth the risk, because I think owning those animals must be amazing. I just personally don't want to deal with the risk. And, you know, you can call me a wimp, you can call me whatever you like. I don't think that's fair, to be honest. Like, I think you have to be fully committed to it and to, you know, want to own venomous reptiles. And you cannot be stupid about it. You cannot do it because you want to look cool. You have to do it because you are dedicated to learning and caring for these animals. And while I would be dedicated to it, I'm perfectly happy with non-venomous animals. I think they are just as cool most of the time, and I'm perfectly fine with animals that, you know, they can still do damage, but if they bite me, I'm not gonna immediately die, you know? I mean, I guess tarantulas are an exception, because even when I get a tarantula, I don't plan on handling it excessively or even at all, unless I know it's pretty friendly. So I wouldn't say tarantulas are counting in this category. I debated putting old world tarantulas in particular on here, but yeah, I'm making this very lengthy. I personally don't want to own venomous animals. That may well change in the future, but it would be very far in the future. And lastly, I apologize, this has been kind of a lackluster video, but lastly, it is quite specific. It's, you know, an actual species, and that is a legless lizard, a European legless lizard. We have one at work, and she's a character. I find her so interesting. I like taking care of her, but it's one of the only reptile species that actually freaks me out. I've held her before, but I've never got her out of her viv on my own because she is fairly defensive. And they just freak me out a little bit. I'm just not a fan. I mean, if someone asks me, like, what reptile do you not like, you know, I'm like, oh, I love them all. But then once I start thinking about it, I would say a legless lizard. I feel really bad saying that because she's called Sheltie and she's amazing, but I don't want one. And I'm sure that's gonna change at some point, and I will see one come into the rescue and I will fall in love and take it home. But then not doing it for me. I'd rather not right now. They are incredibly fascinating animals, and I love, my favorite things when people come in and are like, oh, it's a snake, and I'm like, no, it's not, it's a legless lizard. But yeah, I'm happy with my lizards with legs or just snakes. No in between. So yeah, that pretty much, well, it does conclude the list. Sorry it's been sort of a lackluster video. I just wanted to get something uploaded. You know, it's been not a while, but a little longer than I would like it to be. And, you know, I've been sort of lacking motivation lately, had some tough days, been working a lot more because I've had health issues. So yeah, I've just not really had the motivation or the time, a lot of it has been. So yeah, I just wanted to get something posted, and I thought this would be a good companion to my last video. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. And as I said each time, I'm sure all of these are subject to change. Probably at some point in the next few years. None of these are a never ever. A lot of these videos, like, I watched of, like, you know, animals I would never own, a lot of them are just set on never ever getting those animals. I'm not. The closest to that for me is the venomous, but even then, I've got many, many years of reptile keeping ahead of me, I hope. So I'm sure at least some of these will change. And you might even see me with one of these at some point, like, next year. I don't know yet. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Oh my goodness, Flo, what are you doing? And I would love it if you subscribed, followed my Instagram, whatever, shamelessly plugging myself. Yeah. And I will hopefully almost definitely have a video up before Halloween. But, you know, happy run up to Halloween. Happy Friday 13th. Spooky gods are spoiling us. Yeah, happy everything. Happy Friday. happy whatever day you're watching this. Thank you for watching.